Hello, and welcome to another Coaches Collab, where we have real talk about real pets and our real reasons for becoming certified holistic pet health coaches. And speaking of, I am Melissa Knievel-Natanson, and I'm excited to be joined today by the amazing Marketa Jefferson. Welcome, Marketa.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Marketa Jefferson, and I'm so grateful to Melissa for inviting me in. And we finally made it. It took us a few tries, but we are here today.
We did have a few little scheduling mishaps, but hey, we're a team here and we make it work. That's right. So Marketa, we've had some interesting conversations about your background and the reason that you became a holistic pet health coach. And one of the interesting things about your journey is that you are from Czech Republic. And so if you hear Marketa's accent, that's why. And she learned English on her own. Once she got to the United States, she knew no English when she got here. So I think that's really, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. So tell me a little bit about your journey getting here so we can know more about you and your love for animals.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. If you guys don't understand me, sorry, pull up a Google Translator. Go ahead. It works. But funny story, because I actually, we took some English classes in the school, and I actually failed the exam. And I was supposed to repeat the year again because of the English. And I said to the teacher at the leaving exam, I says, listen, tomorrow I'm flying to New York. Let me go through. I don't want to redo the exam. I promise you I will be back in here 1 year later, and I will speak better English than you. And she was laughing. She let me go, but I literally came back 1 year and a half later. I go, so what's up, B? There I am.
You came to the United States when you were 18, right?
Yes. The border kind of opened up because I came from communist country, and 1991 there was a huge revolution, and everything started to open up, and I always wanted to experience something else. I wanted to learn English because we only knew Russian fluently. I learned a little bit of German. So I wanted to see what's out there, what everybody was hiding all these years. We were not allowed to travel anywhere than Russia and, Western Germany. So I wanted to experience, and I always wanted to go to England. And then by really just an accident, I got an offer to come here. So I graduated as a teacher, kindergarten teacher, special ed in Czech. And I said to my parents, this is okay, I'm flying, I'm going. Of course, they were not happy. I don't think they forgave me till today. But I went, and I was so just dedicated to learn English, see what's out here. And it was really eye-opening with everything. I didn't speak the English. I got here thinking that I will be walking in Manhattan, high-fiving with Michael Jackson and seeing Madonna, seeing these high buildings and, black people with boomba boxes. And I came to Long Island, which is right little like an island by New York, and everything was different. People were different. My cat is screaming. I don't know if you guys hear it.
That's okay. She's okay. You don't mind. We're used to kitties and doggy noises.
Okay.
So when you got to the United States, Marketa, how did you start fostering your love for animals? You were telling me about how you became a dog groomer.
Yeah. So I came here as an au pair, and I started with kids as a teacher, coming from the background. But I think I always had this love for animals, and I was trying to always make it happen, like my kind of passion. And my passion became really obvious 12 years ago when I was fostering dogs in Brooklyn. And just one day it hit me. I was working in a kill shelter. I was working for a rescue organization. And I got this little puppy, cute little puppy, Rumple. And I started to clean him up. I started to wash him, give him a little haircut, horrible haircut. And I says, oh my God, this is great. I love it. And I had to kind of get on my own too. I was a single mom going through a really bad relationship. So I said, you know what? I have to figure something that I can be able to take care of my son, who was 4 or 5 that time, and I have to pay my bills. And wanted to be a technician, vet technician, but that didn't really.
A veterinary technician.
Yeah, that really would not pay the bills. So I looked into the schooling for grooming, and there it was. I just totally fell in love with it, and I started the school. I started to really research and study, and I ended up moving from Brooklyn back to Long Island, and I landed 3 jobs, different jobs, just to see what I loved the best. And I started to work in animal hospital, and that was it. Just, being there to able to help the animals. And I was like, wow, that's it. That's what I love. That's when I be around. And that's how it started, the whole thing.
So tell me about the story. I thought it was really interesting, the story that you did with the puppy with the collapsing trachea.
Yeah. So when I was working as a groomer first in the animal hospital, I saw a lot of little puppies coming from the puppy stores. And of course, these puppies, they are not that well, especially when they come to the hospital. And there was always something. There was hypoglycemia, hypoglycemia puppies. Yeah. And I always take them home, and you have to feed these puppies like every 2 hours because the low sugar and everything. So I just couldn't. We were not emergency hospital. So I had such a hard time going home from the grooming and seeing these puppies left in the cages alone. So I went up to my boss and I says, like, what is this? And I'm starting a job there. I really scared to say anything. And I says, what's going on? And he says, I don't know what to do. What do you want to do? I says, I don't know. If you tell me this dog can be alive tomorrow with my help, I will do anything in my power to do it. So he goes like, yeah, just take it home, do this, feed him every 2 hours and blah, blah, blah. So I says, okay. And I did it because I couldn't walk home knowing that there's this puppy stuck in the cage. And if I come tomorrow, it's going to be like a lottery. Is he going to be alive or dead? It absolutely was driving me crazy. And any puppy that came and was sick, I just took home. And one of the puppies was really interesting case, had a collapsed trachea. It was an English bulldog, cute little Miss Piggy, I called her. And she was there. She got there when she was 2 months. She hardly walked. She was underweight. She couldn't breathe at all because she had a collapsed trachea. And the only way she could breathe, she would go to the wall. She would stick her head and neck on the wall. She would open up the airways, and that's how she breathed. And you literally watching this little puppy breathing like that the whole day.
And that's a very advanced case. There's a lot of ways to support collapsing trachea, but at the time, this is a very advanced case.
Yes. And it's one of the puppies from puppy stores. Nobody wants to really buy it. Why? So you're really waiting for the day and I just couldn't take it. And I started to research, and they said she can have a surgery, but she's too little, it's too small because of the breed and this and that. So I started to research, and it was so funny because I found this Facebook group, and they said if you actually squirt a little bit of lemon with water every morning, it cleans out the airways, and the puppy spits out the phlegm, and it will open up, and the puppy can breathe better. So I was trying to do stupid stuff that time like that, but it really started to work. And I took the puppy home. It was literally 24/7 care for this puppy for 6 months. But she was thriving like amazingly. She became a puppy running, we all fell in love with her. She was so attached to me. And she got literally healthy, but she was still so small to have the surgery. But she was able to, be alive because of this little lemon and some other supplements, and just literally making sure that she's eating, she's doing whatever she needs to do like a puppy. It's a lot of care, but it worked. And
I just want to note, though, why we're in the middle of this story, to anyone that's watching right now, we don't advocate that you squirt lemon juice down your dog right now. This was a very advanced case. this puppy didn't have any other chances and wasn't in the care of a holistic pet health coach. Well, she is now, but not at the time. And there, as holistic pet health coaches, we study functional medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, in addition to nutritional options. So if you do have a dog that is struggling with collapsing trachea, there's a lot of ways that we can go at this, both nutritionally and with herbs. Collagen is a great supporter of the trachea, in addition to some Chinese herbs that keep the airways clear and get rid of that mucus that Marketa was talking about. Because this poor little dog, that was one of the main things that we were doing. And Marketa's, I should say, experiment on that, thankfully, it worked.
Yeah, it literally like opened up the whole kind of thing that I didn't even know that is possible. And I think it started to bring me back when I was little, and we would go to the forest and the woods, and we would bring up, dandelions. We would make a honey, and then every fruit had some kind of, thing that you can do. If you have cranberry, it helps you with, UTI. So all this stuff that my grandma and my mom told us, it was just like, wow, yeah, okay, this is funny. And then I remember my boss told me, oh, wait, so when you actually have a dog patient with a cancer, you're going to treat it with baking soda? And he was joking. But that time I was like, listen, if that works, I will. Now after all the schooling, I know baking soda, a little bit with water, the paste is really great for treating skin conditions.
Bites.
So
yeah, help with bites.
The only thing what we are trying here, we are not here to diagnose or cure. We are really here to give you other options. And we are here to work with your veterinarian. These veterinarians are great, but they are overwhelmed. They have too many cases. There's a reason you go to your vet, you spend so much money, and they spend 15 minutes with you only. And they are able to cure and give you antibiotics for this and that. They will help you definitely, for a little bit. But when this ear infection, the skin issues, the allergies keeps coming back and back, we are here to give you another option, another opinion. And you can follow it and you can see if it helps. Some people tell me, hey, listen, I feed my dogs Kibble the whole life and nothing is wrong with them. Hallelujah. You are very lucky that is happening. But I want you to come to me before anything major happens and before you go to the emergency and spend $15,000 and you learn that your dog is at the last stage of cancer and there's nothing you can do. I believe that if we all work together with the veterinarians, we can prolong the pet's life, and giving the right nutrition, the diet, the fresh food, the right supplements will be great. The veterinarian can still do the surgeries, but they are not nutritionists. We are here to help you with that. So the combination of everything can really be really revolutionary for the whole world.
Well, yeah, I agree. And well said. A lot of people call plant or holistic or integrative medicine alternative medicine, when actually it was the original, kind of like your mama and your grandma did, right?
Definitely. Yeah. All these herbs, it's like if I feel a little inflammation going on, hey, I put little turmeric in my tea, in my coffee. Now I learned that turmeric really works when you add a little bit of black pepper in it. That really works.
Right. And to piggyback on what you say, one of the reasons that our position was created, and there's about 200 of us in the whole United States. Yes. We are very, very highly specialized and highly trained with a one-of-a-kind type of education. So, and many of us have strong backgrounds for years before we even came to Dr. Ruth. But Dr. Ruth Roberts, the original holistic pet health coach, she saw the writing on the wall, and she was getting exhausted herself in her veterinary practice and just couldn't keep up with the amount of sick pets. And so much of that is related back to the diet, back to Kibble, which we never recommend because we found out the high pressure processing kills most of the nutrients. They're adding synthetic vitamins, which can be inflammatory. And in addition to the moisture content, in the wild, our pets are getting 80 to 90% moisture in their food, and Kibble's only about 10% moisture. So this is
Um,
part of what we have going on. And Marketa, she knows, she goes, now, Melissa, she tells me this yesterday. She said, Melissa, I know this statistic that you give every time about the ratio of pets to vets. And it shows that, yes, pets. Let me start over. Vets are overwhelmed and they are overworked. And you tell us why, Marketa. You have a new statistic for me to share now on the amount of pets to vets.
So last time we listened, it was 80 million of pets, right?
80 million pets to
in the United States, right?
Pets. Yeah.
So now it's 90 million of pets in 2024. I don't know how they counted, but apparently if I did my research, 90 million pets. And for these 90 million pets, you have 126,000 veterinarians. That's
still not
nothing.
Good.
That's
so
nothing.
We have 90
Yeah, by 2030, there is going to be a shortage of 30,000 veterinarians.
Okay, so I just want to reiterate that. So we have 90 million pets in this country and about 125,000 vets. That's a big balance. And yes, I have seen those estimates that they're estimating there's going to be a veterinary shortage of 30,000, you said?
Yes, definitely. So that's a lot. I work in animal hospital for a few years. I know how it is. And it's so hard. The amount of people coming in and they, it's really like a factory sometimes. And that's why we come here too. We give you the second opinion and we try to work with your vet, with your dog, with you, trying to figure out the best option to prolong your dog's life, cat's life. And sometimes when it's too late, it's not too late because there are ways how to make your dogs comfortable at the last point of their lives.
That's right.
And it's just so sad because as a mobile groomer, I see this every day and it's so sad and it breaks my heart when dogs come in all the time with the same with the same issues, skin issues, ear infections. Every month they go to the vet, ear infection, anal glands, all the problems, the same. What did the vet say? Oh, they don't know. It's, environmental allergies. Yeah, it's so hard. And I know they would give you the answer. They would love to give you an answer, but they are trained to give you this antibiotics, this kind of food, this prescription diet is going to help you with kidneys. Oh, you have kidney stones. This prescription diet is perfect. It's going to break up the stones and the dog is going to be wonderful. Please, I see this every day. Every time when you pull up the vet, gave you this bag. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't really work. And it does work for a little bit, but then the dog goes back to the normal. It works for a little bit because in these diets, there are actually herbs that will make the dog miraculously, better, but not permanently. It's just a temporary relief. So
Maggie popped in here. It is difficult to tell pet parents that there is another way. And that's another reason why we're here today on the Coaches Collab, because we're here to spread information. We've got the gorgeous inside and out Marketa. I'm getting to know her spirit and her soul, and it's been wonderful. And I am thrilled that she is part of the team and that we have her here. There's so many wonderful holistic pet health coaches, and we all support each other. But part of this is we're getting the word out that there is an easier and a better way through integrative and holistic options. We always recommend whole, fresh food. And Maggie, I wanted to tell you, and Marketa, just yesterday I was walking and I have an elderly neighbor who her little doggy had a big scar on its tum-tum. And I said, oh, what happened? And this poor pup had horrible kidney stones and had to go have surgery. So I talked to her a little bit about diet, and I got the blank look. And, the whole, oh, he's on a prescription diet now. It will be just fine. Here's what we have to say about that. Prescription diets usually work in the short term, but in the background, they're fostering other inflammatory conditions. The bottom line is dogs and kitties just aren't designed to process kibble. It's pretty hard on their systems. And the kibble he was eating contributed to the kidney stones in the first place. So we're just kind of on this hamster wheel that goes around, and it can get difficult.
And if I can interrupt you on that note, two things. First of all, Maggie, I love, if you guys, you should put Maggie's reel about people food she just made. It's amazing. Oh, yeah, I love you, Maggie. I love that reel. Maggie, you nail it. Maggie is talking about people food. So before 1950, dogs just ate scraps, right? Whatever fell off the table, because people used to cook. Right. So whatever fresh food they had leftovers, they would just toss it off the table of the dog. And that's why people say, like, the dogs used to eat, whatever scraps, and they were always healthy. Yes, because before you would just do this, and you would toss out the meat, you would toss up the broccoli, you would toss, whatever rice you had left over, you would literally clean the table, and the dogs would eat, and they would be healthy. They didn't need all the vaccines and everything and blah, blah, blah. There was not so many pesticides in the environment, not so much plastic in our environment. Before 1950, it was totally, totally different. Then World War II comes. And that's how, say that again?
We had rationing, and then they developed kibble.
Yeah, and they developed kibble. Why? Because people had no money. There was a depression. We were starving for, not maybe lucky, but people were starving for food. People had nothing, to eat. And how about the dogs? They were starving too. So at 40, dry food was developed, and they had it in, like, it started with horses, I think, and it was in the cans, in metal cans. They had dry and wet food for the dogs. That's how it started. And the metal was used for the war. So the metal disappeared, and they trying to figure out, okay, now we have a shortage on metal. What we gonna do? Oh, wait, we can do bag food. So they created bag food, and by the hot temperature and processing and going through all the thing that you process the dry food, they created the kibble, and the kibble was containing whatever leftovers, corn, garbage was, found somewhere, the nasty stuff, and and suddenly, hey, dry food, it's so great, and they were making money, and that's how it all switched. Because as you were saying before, wolves started to eat fat and protein and a little bit of carbs. Mm-hmm. And the dry kibble totally changed that. There's this food pyramid, and you have to have carbs and starches and this. No, the dogs, cats don't need it. They need fat and they need protein. Correct. 45, 50, little bit of carbs. Suddenly the dry food, you have some kind of chicken meal, beef meal. What the hell is that? If you look at the ingredients, oh my God, you don't understand any of it. And
I appreciate your candor, Marketa. I really do.
You don't understand any of it. But now I know it's not good for the dogs. And it's like eating Doritos every single day. And the worst is when people tell me, oh my God, the dry kibble is really making my dog's teeth clean. No, the opposite. When you eat a bag of Doritos every day, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to be, on your teeth, and the dogs don't brush the teeth. So, raw diet comparing back, it's just so different to diet now. So when Maggie did this reel, people food, yes, I was at the hospital, and I says, please don't give the dogs people food. What I meant was, don't give them Chinese. Don't give them hot dogs.
Not tacos and Chinese.
Yeah, don't give them pizza.
Fries, ground beef.
So now when somebody tells me, when somebody tells me, like, I give my dog broccoli, is that okay? Yes, it's wonderful. And if you want to keep doing these kibbles, I'm not against it. You have to know what works best for you, what works best for your dog or cat, and you decide. You are the best person to decide what is the best for your dog. And you can ask questions. When you go to the vet, don't be shy to ask questions. Don't be shy to research. Don't be shy to get second opinion. If your dog is not doing well on the prescription diet and keeps getting the ear infection all over. Listen, it comes all down to the gut, and that's what needs to be restored. And when you give your dog that is on dry kibble something off the table, it messes him up because they are used to these, what do we say, the dry balls? What do you say?
Oh, burnt brown balls.
Yes. Yeah. So when you give them something different, of course their GI is going to be different.
It's two different rates of digestion. Fresh food digests differently than kibble. So you're right. And you were so right on the teeth thing too. I'm always surprised when I happen to explain that to people. So dogs don't produce amylase in their mouth. And amylase is the digestive enzyme that's used to digest carbohydrates. They have had some genetic mutations, and now their pancreas makes it so that they can eat some fruits and vegetables and some healthy carbohydrates if they're on a specialized diet like quinoa or kidney beans, but generally not. So when they eat kibble, think about like when you eat a cracker, like it sticks in your teeth. So it's the same with them, but they have no amylase in their mouth and they can't break it down, and it just turns into tartar.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to your story, Marketa. So you we went down this road, we turned hard right. Now we're going to go straight again. So when you were grooming dogs, you just kind of organically started helping out your clients with their diet, right?
Yes, not even with diet. I started to ask the questions. Why is this keep coming? Why is this happening? Why I have been grooming dogs for so many years and they have the same issue. And I didn't know the answer either. Mm-hmm. I couldn't understand why nobody can do a test and tell me that this dog cannot have this kind of food. And if you don't, I didn't understand. And I just didn't know. And it kind of I wanted to help these people because I saw so many times happening that the people put the dog down because they were broke. They didn't want to deal with it anymore. And they really didn't know. They were desperate. And there was nobody to give them an answer. And I saw that happening more and more. And I was like, okay, I want to help these people. I don't know why. And I think last year I started to, look into a different kind of stuff. Like, okay, maybe if you do this, if you change the shampoo, if you do this, it's going to get better, and I started to kind of do research. And then I think the whole change was when, and I told you yesterday, I started to look for plan B. As a mobile groomer, you get burnout. I love what I do. I absolutely do. I can do it 24/7. I do it with passion. I'm an artist. So when I take the dog on the table and I groom the dog, I'm in heaven. I am creating an art piece. So I love it. But then what can happen is your truck breaks down. You break your leg, you break your hand, you break your back, you get old. What do you do then? So I always wanted to have a plan B. And I started to think okay, what can I do to have a plan B, but still be involved with the dogs? And that's when it started hitting me. I love dogs. I love to help people. I love to help the dogs. I always wanted to be a veterinarian. I don't want to go to the school for veterinarian. I can, I don't know. So what do I do? And as I'm researching on the computer, Dr. Ruth Roberts shows up. And I see her bio and what she's doing. Then I look into Judy Morgan and I started to read more about it. And I says, you know what, this is a great addition. And I can see what's going to happen if I do apply it to my mobile business. Maybe I can help somebody. Mm-hmm. So that started the whole thing, because I come to my clients every month, 2 months, 3 months. I see these skin conditions, ear infection, and it's still the same every month, and it gets worse and worse. And then I get very attached with every dog of mine, and I take it very personal when something is happening to the dog. If they call me, hey, listen, I have an emergency, I don't know what it is, I'm right there. I don't charge. I just want to see, I want to help. And that's kind of, I put it all together. And that's when I decided, like, you know what, this is going to be a great addition. And if I can find one answer that's going to solve the skin issue or ear infection, so I don't have to see the same dog for 2 years with the same condition, I'm in it. And I did the research on Dr. Ruth Roberts, and I really loved everything about her. And I really loved the course. So I said, you know what? And being certified was another reason, because when you are here speaking English hardly, like, you want to have some kind of paper. Like, I was tired of hearing you are just a groomer. It's like, okay, you want a paper with that, I give you paper.
Right.
But
it's the program with the highest number of continuing education credits. It's over 40 continuing education credits. That's huge.
Yeah.
We have numerous vet techs on our team in this course, and it's amazing. It's an amazing education.
Yeah. So I finish up my busy season, which is always Thanksgiving and Christmas, and January I just jump in, and I was like, oh my God. And I'm doing oh my God every day, because there is so much to learn. There is so many things that are so obvious now, and I wish I knew before, because I would probably save so many dogs that are not here with us anymore, and even my own pets, unfortunately. But it's amazing that sometimes it does really come to a simple food. Food is healing. And I always say, and I say it now, you are what you eat, and the same comes to your dog. So then when I have these clients now, they saying my dog eats better than I am. I'm so happy, but I always tell them, please look into your diet too, because I apply everything what I apply to my dogs and cats on me, and it's amazing difference. Changes your body, your look, energy levels. It's really amazing.
It's amazing what a fresh whole food diet can do. Yeah. And of course, there's Dr. Ruth she has the original Crock Pet diet, and there's links in the comments below if anybody has any questions. In addition, Marketta's website is on there. If you're interested in booking a consult with Marketa, her website is on there, pawsbalance.com. So you can check that out. In addition, if you are interested in doing what Marketa and I do as a holistic pet health coach, or just wanting to further your education to make the best life for your pets, there's also a link in the comments to join a webinar or a seminar and speak with the amazing Dr. Ruth Roberts and find out more on how to be a coach. I know that it has changed the trajectory of my life. I had studied dog nutrition for years and was helping people out on the side, but didn't really know how to apply it. Or like you said, Marketa, the certification and the backing that Dr. Ruth has, and the amount of establishments that recognize this certification is incredible. There's a lot of copycats out there. We've seen there's some copycats out there that are trying, they have these AI generated
for 99 sale.
Yeah, for $99 bologna sale. Let me tell you, anybody who is listening, this is the real deal.
Yeah.
And I've been studying dog nutrition for almost 10 years. This is the real deal. It's a great education. And I feel like it is really the perfect balance between traditional vet med and integrative health, because as Marketa mentioned, we are here to help you work with your veterinarian. We've got you with the supplements and the diet and environmental factors, and the veterinarians can help with the diagnosis. So really, it's kind of a match made in heaven, I think.
Definitely. And Dr. Ruth is really amazing. I think when we went to the event in Chicago, Know Better, Do Better.
Yes.
It completely changed my look on the whole thing. I love her course. I love her tone of the voice. She knows everything. I mean, no matter what you ask her, she has the answer for it. And when I went to the event, I met her at the breakfast, and she looks at me and she goes, "Hello, Miss Praha." So Praha is Prague, the capital of Czech Republic. and she was recently visiting. And when she said, "Hello, Miss Praha," I was like, "Oh my God."
Oh, that's special.
I love her. So she is really great. The event was amazing. So many special people, doctors showed up. The coaches that I met, we had unbelievable time. And the passion that is between us, within us, it's really amazing. And if we can just help one dog at a time, it's going to make a big, big difference. And it's starting this revolution. I went to see Dr. Karen Becker and Rodney Hubbard, the creators of the Forever Dog book. Amazing stuff. I would definitely recommend just to reading, just to be open to something else, just to educate yourself and trying to understand why this is, happening, and trying to find different answers. Like I'm saying, the dry kibble, they definitely brainwash us for 45 years to believe the dry kibble, the prescription diet, are the best diets for the dogs. No, it's not. And I when I say that, I don't want any, I'm not asking for trouble. What I'm asking is to reconsider the ingredients in your food and put something different there. So when the veterinarian is faced to prescribe you something, it's not going to be garbage. It's going to be better food that you can give now. And people have to wake up and stop buying this stuff, because it's just, the circle is never going to stop. It's just the whole thing that we all do. We just listen and do what we are told to do. And sometimes it doesn't have to be the right thing.
Right. Well, and I think that the moral of the story here is that we have to be advocates for our own health, and we have to be the advocates for our pets' health as well. We can't always take everything at face value these days, because that's just the world we live in. So, and if anybody who's got pets out there or is listening to this has questions, once again, there's links in the comments to find a coach and Marketa. And I'd invite you to join our Holistic Pet Health by Dr. Ruth Roberts Facebook group. We do answer general questions about integrative and holistic health on there. However, I also want to mention that if you have a complicated case and you write in, please expect to know that we're going to encourage you to book with a coach and have a consult with somebody amazing like Marketa. And I will say all of our coaches are amazing. I've met a good majority of them virtually. And we can definitely steer you in the right direction. So with that, here comes my favorite part. I mean, the whole thing is my favorite, but it's time for pet perks and pet peeves. I'm still going to work on a jingle someday.
This is great. I love it. I'm looking forward every time you have it.
Oh God. So Marketa already knows the drill, which is awesome. So pet perks. These are things, top 3 things that you just love about pet wellness, your favorite products, toys, topics, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Pet products. I don't think I was ready for this one. Okay,
do you want to do pet peeves instead? Well, yeah, I can guess your pet perks. Should we try something new?
Okay, try it. Yeah.
To guess.
What?
Number 1, fresh food.
Oh yeah. Yes.
See, this is easy.
Yes.
Number 2, herbal remedies. Number 3, Pomeranians. Am I right?
Definitely. It's I think you nailed it. Yeah, without me even putting my brain in the gear. Yes, the number 1, fresh food. There are so many different foods now out there. You just don't know which one is the right one. You are confused. If you decide to do this food, like, what do I do? So I am not a fan of raw food. I just can't see it. I don't do well with the blood. It's great for the animal. It's just like, oh, I'm not gonna touch it. So if you are happy to, do it, but you have to find what works for you and your pet. So my recommendation and what I do with my clients is definitely the fresh whole food diet with slow cooking. Because when you do the slow cooking, you take the less nutrients out. And some of my clients now tell me, oh my God, they spit up the car. They don't like this. I was like, you know what? When you put it in the slow cooker and you cook it for the 8 hours, the veggies and everything sucks on the flavor of the meat, and they love it. The dogs eat the whole thing. My dogs fight over, dinner and stuff like that because it's all the aroma from the meat. They just absolutely love it. So the fresh food. Now I'm learning the number 2, as you're saying, the herbs. Oh my God, the mushrooms, the CBD. I always was the one, oh, your dog is not behaving for the grooming. Let's do trazodone. There are so many bad things about these sedation drugs. And I saw a lot of stuff when you give them the sedation drugs, they actually have opposite impact on the dog. So I really was facing a bad stories with trazodone and some other drugs that were give to the dog to really calm down before the grooming. So I definitely try to stay away from that. It's just the whole balance. Like my company's name is called Pulse Balance, and Dr. Linda Loudon asked me yesterday, why balance? And I says balance because I wanted to name the company Pulse Harmony, but it was taken. So it's really balance, and balance because I believe that you have to take care of your dog physically, mentally, emotionally. So when you have a puppy, you make sure the dog is busy, exercise, because if not, they will tear up your apartment or your house. You feed them fresh diet because it's going to affect their whole life. And when you exercise them, play games with them, they are involved. So my favorite thing to do with the dogs is just go hiking because it's good for me and it's good for my dogs. And
it's a sniffari. It's a sniffari.
Yeah. And sniffari. I love that. And I put my phone away and I'm in the woods, forest, for like 20 minutes. And it's so relaxing. It's, good for anxiety for me and the dogs.
Right.
Everything is great about it. So I think in this reality, in this real life, we forget to really slow down, just pay attention what's around us, appreciate what's around us, and just, balance it all, our lives and the dog's life. And that's so important for today. Just put that phone away for a few minutes and just focus on you and what's around you and pay attention what's around you.
Yeah. Well, I think that's fantastic advice, Marketa. So do you want to skip pet peeves? Because we do have
pet peeves I have.
Do you want to do pet peeves?
I have those.
Okay, let's hear them. Then we do have one question for you before we wrap up. Do you want to do the question first? Okay. So Jeanette asked, what herbs are good for dogs? What's your answer, Marketa?
There are so many herbs. It depends what herbs, like what you're looking for. We can talk about inflammation. We can talk about GI issues. We can talk about anal glands problem. Every herbs you have or we have is great for some kind of issue. So it's always good to ask, okay, what kind of issue you are experiencing with your dog, and we recommend these herbs because there are so many of them. So if you would like to find what herbs I use, please feel free to email me or look up on my website. I do starting blogs and everything about that too. And I will be more than happy to start a conversation and recommend something what works for me.
Sounds good. Okay, Marketa, now you're on the spot again with the pet peeves.
This one I thought about, and what I don't like, and I would like really to stop, is the dog treats from China. Yeah. I had bad experience with those, and I am guilty of it too, because I was trying to save money on dog treats years ago. And I would go to dollar store and bought these chicken strips and stuff. My dogs love that. but they got really sick from it.
Oh no.
So
yeah, we just don't know what gets put in the food there.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's the same with dog food too. We just don't know.
Yeah. So FDA is actually investigating as of now. 60% of the cases there were and complaints were related to GI issues after eating these treats. And the same thing comes to China dog toys. There is a lot of there was something actually in it. They were made of toxins, and there was like a story on news too. There's a lot of toxins in these toys, and the dogs ended up in an ER because of it. So I would definitely eliminate all these things. And people always ask me, it was like, oh, my dog likes treats. First of all, your dog likes treats because we like snacks, and we think if we like snacks, the dog likes snacks too. And it's like a habit. I open the fridge and they are right there. And my client told me, it was like, oh, my dog really likes greenies. I says, okay, great. But how about blueberries? How about apples? How about carrots? And now, first of all, it's cheaper, it's healthier. And what I love to do now is you can take, if your dog likes ice, you can take ice cubes, you can put a little bit of chicken broth, any veggies that your dog likes, and you can freeze it. And then you give your dogs as a treat the chicken broth cube with the vegetables, or maybe with, little turmeric because the dog has an inflammation. Or if your dog takes CBD oil, you can put it into that treat and give it to them. Cheaper, better, and just tastier. I do a lot of dehydrating snacks right now. That was another thing with the Chinese dog treat. A lot of chicken jerky was really bad for the dogs. A lot of dogs actually died in 2012 of the chicken jerky from China. So I literally get the chicken, organic chicken, I cut it, dehydrate it, and my dogs, my cats love it. So these are the treats that you can start to do at home. You don't have to spend that much money. You just have to find the time to do it. And you can just take it, okay, maybe instead of watching, series on Netflix, you can spend some time in the kitchen. And, while you're in the kitchen, try to make yourself a salad or something healthy. Go away, from these commercials, McDonald's and Wendy's. It's so bad for you. And it's all over the place. And it's supposed to be so good for you. No, it's not good for any of us. Yeah. And it's just going to open up more health places and hospitals, and it's not good,
Yeah, I'm with you, Marketa. I'm with you. So we've just got a few minutes left. What are your last two pet peeves?
Definitely would like to talk about the law against rabies. I see it a lot on my truck. The law should be really adjusted, taking away. You should not be penalized or fined for not having rabies at your pet, especially if your dog is senior. I see it every day. I hear it every day. Or sick. Every time people come, my dog cannot go to the groomer shop because they require rabies. Right. I cannot afford my dog go to your grooming mobile because it's expensive. So they don't have the dog groomed, and it's a disaster, and it's not necessary. So something has to be changed about these rabies, to not to have it every 3 years, not to have it every year. Something should be done. Something has to be taken away and redone because it's not good. And I'm not gonna get into the whole vaccine, thing. I just give me a break on the rabies. When the dog is 14 years old, and you literally, when you give your dog rabies at that moment, you just might say your goodbye to them. Please don't do that.
Right. And what's your last? Yes. Thank you for bringing that up, Marketa. That's a very valid topic, and something that a holistic pet health coach can talk that through with you on what some options are. And what's your last one?
The last one, I always believe that everything comes down to the beginning of something, right? Like when I teach my clients now, my dog is full of fleas. I want to tell them, okay, you can prevent it at the beginning. You can treat your backyard for the fleas first before you put your dog in there, so the dog doesn't even get fleas. So you kind of want to go to the beginning of all of it. My big issue was always puppy stores and puppy mills. I want to get rid of this all. In 2022, finally, New York banned puppy stores. I had so many fights. I almost got fired because of that, because I could never keep my mouth shut about these puppy stores. And now I see all the stuff that's happening in puppy mills. That's when we get all these sick dogs. And that's how it started. They are bred in a bad environment. They are taken away from their mother too soon. They come with these health issues. Now we're rescuing all these mothers and fathers that they were no good anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It was so heartbreaking. Please, like, we have to do something about and start to really dig into the beginning. Like with the dog, like when the dog has an issue, let's not just temporarily fix it. Let's get down to the gut. Let's get down to the base and treat it from the beginning to the end.
Well said, Marketa. And I think that really goes to show what your philosophy is too, and how you approach holistic and integrated pet healthcare.
Yeah,
it has been, I just heard one of my kitties zooming across the house. So,
yeah, on my end, everybody's locked up.
Who knows what's going on there? Everything's okay, but I heard some burnouts right outside the door.
Right on the time.
But Marketa, thank you for your time today, and thank you for sharing your spirit and your knowledge and your background. We're certainly happy that you are part of the team. We're happy to have you. And once again, if you'd like to reach out to Marketa for a consultation, her website is in the comments. Marketa, anything closing? Because we got to go.
I just love you guys. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and whoever stick to the end and will rewatch it. I am so grateful for all of you who support my journey, and thank you. I'm really grateful to all of you.
Well, we certainly do. Thank you. And thank you to everybody who is listening again. Have a wonderful weekend. And as always, you know what we say, positive vibes. Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.